Having two brothers play for the men's hockey team is not a common occurrence. But today's guest, along with his younger brother Carson, carved similar paths in their hockey journeys on the way to donning the green and white. He was a smooth skating defenseman who logged a ton of minutes for Coach Forbes McPherson. And he's continued his career at the pro level in the AHL with Bridgeport. Please welcome Summerside native Ryan MacKinnon. Pleased to welcome in all the way from Bridgeport, Connecticut, today's guest, Ryan MacKinnon. Ryan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Norm.
All right. Ryan, if you think back, I want to sort of start off with your kind of hockey journey. You kind of had three distinct experiences. You left the island as a young guy to go at Notre Dame, the renowned private school out west in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Then you headed to the Q, Rimouski, another very well-established franchise, and then you wrapped it up here in Charlottetown as captain of the Charlottetown Islanders. When you look at those three experiences, Ryan, I guess I kind of wonder what was that like for you in terms of your development, your growth as a player, and even your growth as an individual, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start playing my minor hockey in Summerside. Right from a young age, it was always a goal of mine to go to Notre Dame.
Okay.
Just from the players that are from PEI that went there, Brandon Gormley, Brad Richards, Parker Dean. It always caught my eye on how many good hockey players came out of there, and growing up, the development side of things in minor hockey in Summerside, you practice once a week, you play a couple games, and I was always looking for more. So it was always a goal of mine to go out there. And I was fortunate enough to get a phone call late August from Notre Dame, and myself, my family made the decision to go out there. I've never been out there before, so Dad warned me. He said, "You can watch your dog run away for 3 days." That's what Saturday. And he wasn't.
Not a lot happening in Wilcox, Saskatchewan.
No, not a lot happening. But just the atmosphere and environment of that place, as small as it is, there's, I don't know, 200, 250 students there, and everybody's on the same page. Everyone wants to get better, not only athletically, but also academically. Everyone's pretty focused on their school and stuff. But just the atmosphere of being around, hockey players that have one goal to go to the next level was pretty special for sure.
Sure. You played with a pretty good guy who's playing with the Leafs right now.
Yeah, so that was the other cool part is, you're coming from PEI, you travel across Atlantic Canada, you might go to the odd tournament in Ontario, but when you start having roommates like Morgan Riley, Slater Kukuk, I mean, you can name drop all day, but these guys, are going on to have tremendous NHL careers, and to be living with them in a dorm, so you see them on the ice, but you also see how they carry themselves off the ice was definitely change your perspective on what it takes, and it was a cool experience for sure.
Yeah, and then you go to two really good organizations in Rimouski and Charlottetown. Maybe you just touch on those a little bit too. What those were like for you in terms of your development.
Yeah, so that was interesting because at Notre Dame, it definitely comes with options. You start hearing about the NCAA route or the CHL route where I'd be playing in the Q. But it was actually my draft year. We won the TELUS Cup which is national. So we won that in Quebec. And I had a couple other guys on my team that were getting drafted. And long story short, I was the only one that wasn't drafted. So it was kind of the first point in my career where I didn't really know what was going to take place. And, you can call it adversity now, but, you try to tell a young kid that's not drafted that, it doesn't matter. It's tough. But so I went back the following year, and then I was fortunate enough to get picked up by Rimouski in the following draft. And I instantly fell in love with it. My dad and I drove up to Rimouski. Obviously, the history of that place is phenomenal. When we went and saw the rink, the city and stuff, it was a goal of mine to make that team, and I was fortunate enough to play there for 3 years. And then my 20-year-old year, I got traded to Charlottetown, which was a whirlwind because I haven't been back to PEI since I left home at 13. So coming back at 20 years old, it was a whirlwind, and I was super excited. And I was coming back with one of my best buddies. He's still one of my great friends today, Ross Johnson. So we were both coming home for our overage year, which was super special, and it turned out to be a great year as well.
Right. Was stateside an option for you, or were you more focused in the queue? What would your preference have been when you went out to Notre Dame? What were you looking for?
I was always a major junior guy. I mean, my watching the Caps games growing up, going to Rocket games, that was I wanted to wear a visor. Like I wanted to play in that league. So I wasn't overly familiar with the NCAA route. Obviously, at the Allen Andrews Showcase there, the schools come and start to talk to you and the development side of things there. But I did have a couple options to go stateside, but it was just an unfamiliar territory for like myself, my family. We weren't really sure how it worked, where to play before, how long the process takes. So when the Rimouski option came available, I mean, we jumped right on it.
Yeah, good choice.
It worked out.
So after you're done there, you finish up. You talk about hooking up with Roscoe and your 20-year-old season, and you make the decision to come to UPEI. So you've been away for a while. Now you're back in the island. What kind of drew you to wearing the green and white? And make that your home for post-secondary?
Well, coming home with Ross was super special because I've been playing with him since, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. So having someone familiar with playing with your last year was awesome. So I started to realize that pro opportunities were, to go through someone like that with him was awesome. So he ended up signing with the Islanders. So I was kind of focusing on my path and my road. And I always thought, well, if I can go to school and get a degree with my back pocket, then take a run at the pro level, like that was always kind of a goal of mine. So, a big factor in that, obviously you meet with Forby, and he's such a down to earth person. He tells you exactly how it is. So, coming to the end of my 20-year-old year, it basically came down to UPEI, UND. And a big factor in that was actually my assistant coach, Connor Cameron. I talked to him quite a bit. I mean, I was in his office all the time talking about options and what he thinks and whatnot. And he gave me the layer on how true to his word and down to earth Forby really is. And it's where I wanted to be. Forby knew my goal of going pro, so we were on the same page there. And he was going to do whatever it takes to help me get there. So it just seemed like the perfect fit.
And when you look at your career, Ryan, it was kind of an up and down experience here at UPEI. You came in pretty good numbers your first year. I think 14 points, 7 goals, 7 assists, 28 points in your first year. Your second year, you didn't get a goal. You had like 5 assists in 24 games. And then your last year, you kind of popped eye-popping numbers. I think you had 29 points in 30 games, 5 goals, 24 assists, something like that. So what happened? How do you kind of explain the breakout maybe year that you had in your final season here?
Yeah, well, I mean, Forby can warn you, all you want on how intense AUS hockey actually is, but you can only you have to get your feet wet to experience it. So that first year, we had a great team, great group of guys, and a lot of people had a lot of success. And the second year was the first time I realized like the schedule of AUS is tricky. So, you only play so many games. So before Christmas, I had a slight fracture in my foot. So then you miss games, and you don't realize when you miss games, it's, you might as well miss a lot. And then after Christmas, I had a fracture in my hand. So it was hard to get into the rhythm of things. And then like the season happens so fast. Every game is so intense that if you're not playing every weekend, it's like you've been sitting out for months. So that second season was definitely tough. And then going into that third season, I knew I wanted to go pro after. So I did whatever it took that summer to fully prepare for that. And luckily it worked out.
Good for you. Sure did. So if you look back, Ryan, you had 3 years here. It's not all about hockey, but it's obviously a big part. But what are your kind of some of your favorite memories, maybe favorite takeaways, some of the takeaways you had from your time spent here at UPEI?
Yeah, that's a big one because we keep. I mean, I still touch base with quite a few guys I went to school with, and we talk all the time about the memories and stuff like that. But the biggest thing, my takeaway from UPEI is when you get to the pro level, you don't realize how it's a job. And when you're at school with UPEI, everyone's going out to eat together, everyone's hanging out together. It's kind of that last sense of really team atmosphere and community. So just how close our team was, and then obviously winning a playoff series my first year against Acadia. I think our fearless leader Denny King had a pretty famous call there. That's pretty well known. But yeah, just how close the group of guys were, and that sense of friendship and family was awesome.
Right. So when you're talking about making that move, right? You had a goal to go pro at the end of your third year. After your third year, you achieved that, right? You left after the season was over. You took off. You knew you were embarking on the next phase of your hockey life. It's no longer hanging out with buddies at lunchtime, doing this, doing that, living in a dorm at Notre Dame or whatever it might be. Can you maybe walk us through what that's like when you finally make that switch? You say, okay, I'm going from the amateur, your amateur days are done. I'm moving on to a pro career. What's that like?
It's definitely a jump. I mean, it's a whirlwind. The pro lifestyle it just comes down to how crazy. Rosters change, guys get called up, guys are signing different places, but it really just comes down to focusing on yourself. And I knew that I built, a strong enough background through my experiences at Notre Dame, junior UPEI, that I was confident in myself that, no matter what, I know I can put my best foot forward and,
Right.
See where the chips fall. So I was super excited to turn pro, and luckily I've had a pretty successful career to this point. But the main thing is just preparing for that opportunity was the big thing for me, because you never know when it's going to come. And I knew my time at UPEI. I was counting down the days, the years. I knew after that third year that my opportunity was going to come, and luckily I was ready for it. But I can't thank Forby enough for helping me, give me the tools to be ready for that day.
Good. Is Europe an option for you? Like,
Yeah.
I just talking with Seuss the other day. He went through the American League. You look at a guy like Matt Meone.
Yep.
Recently, they go over. He had success in the KHL. Matt Carter.
Yep.
Is that something you might be thinking about?
Yeah, for sure. After every season, you always get the Europe options, but I'm just so in love with the North American game that I thought if I can build my resume over here instead of going over there and trying to make a name for yourself, that if I can build a strong enough resume over here first and see where the chips fall over there. But it's definitely it's definitely an option that's awesome to have. And you talk to Seuss, you talk to Mayo, Kartsy. I mean, it's nothing but positive things. It's getting paid to do what you love while also seeing the world is pretty special.
Pretty cool. So speaking of pretty cool, you have to be pretty impressed with your younger brother. He and Jack Flamin, of course, Jack plays with Acadia. They had the Notre Dame connection from before. They played together at Notre Dame, and then they hooked up this year to create the awareness raising for MS. And we know that it affects both of your families. Can you maybe speak to what you think about the work that your little brother did to pull that whole initiative together and make a difference for those who are struggling with MS, with the disease.
Yeah, it was awesome, Norm. It was awesome. It was to get that news from someone so close and you love. Our sister's so special to all of us. She was she was the original person that chased what she wanted to do and achieve it, and she taught Carson and I so much. So for Carson to be able to start that initiative for her was awesome, and it just shows how small the hockey world is. So Jack's brother Mike, I actually graduated with him from Notre Dame. So
All right, I didn't know
so
that.
we've known each other for over 10, 15 years, whatever. So
Okay.
just to see how the hockey community brought those two together for such a great cause was pretty special to me and my family, and obviously my sister. So to see how successful it was and the support from everybody was, it really is, it leaves you speechless how awesome it was.
But they end up, they exceeded their goal over 10,000, right? Did they get up to
Yeah, I think they hit
15,000?
north of 15. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they smashed their goal, which was, you obviously with everything going on, it's hard to ask people for support
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
cause that only affects so few. Though, so to see that goal smashed,
Yeah.
it was just amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty heartwarming, I got to admit, and
Yeah,
yeah, pretty special. So, Ryan, you unfortunately didn't get to the Nationals. Your brother is. You didn't get to the Canada Games. Your brother did. But you'd have to be pretty happy seeing that he's there. I know you're going to be tuning in Friday night. You got the night off, but what kind of message do you want to give the boys for either your brother and all his teammates as they embark upon this historic tournament for UPEI?
yeah, it's absolutely historic. I mean, they've been waiting for this opportunity for a couple of years now with COVID and everything. So I guess the main point is just enjoy it.
Mm,
Obviously every team there deserves to be there.
yeah.
UPEI has had a great year. Obviously they fell short in playoffs, but it only comes down to 3 periods of hockey. So
Mm,
not only enjoy it, obviously you have to respect the team you're playing, but you can't admire them.
yeah.
UPEI knows how they can play, and if they believe in themselves and bring that, I'm highly confident in them, and I'm super excited to watch Friday.
All right, buddy. Well, listen. Thanks for being part of here today, Ryan. You were a great player here at UPI. I loved watching you. I love seeing those pins flying up the ice, 32 minutes a game, whatever you were playing here at UPI. So, and it's great having Carson around here too. Quality people. Love seeing the Island boys do well, and you've had a great career. And good luck, bud, and keep her going. And tune in Friday night.
Yeah, appreciate it, Norm. I mean, the alumni love these Panther primers, so appreciate all the work you're doing.
No problem. Okay, buddy. Take
All right,
care.
take care. Bye.
Thanks, Ryan.